We just got a big direct focus on Tomodachi Life living the dream, which revealed a whole bunch of new stuff about the game that has somehow made me even more excited than I already was. So of course I have a ton of thoughts on everything that was shown off. Right at the start they showed off the ability to customize each Mii's dating preferences, which means Miis can be straight, gay, bisexual, and even asexual. Non-binary is also included as a gender option, which is such a great addition to see. We already knew that Nintendo would be creating a more inclusive experience this time around, but there was a part of me that thought they would try to get around it or find some workaround that only half solved the issue. So to see them include all these options in such a clear and open way is fantastic to see. In a game all about customization and player expression, this was an absolute must and I'm so happy to see it's actually happening. We also got to see a new kind of makeup system that seems pretty similar to how it worked in Miitopia, although time will tell if it'll have the same level of customization. I'm so glad there will be a way to make the various Miis on your island look even more accurate and full of personality. They didn't mention a way to download other people's designs online, so hopefully that's a feature as well. After the Direct, Nintendo put out this vague statement about restricting certain image sharing content related to the game, which seems to just be in terms of uploading videos of the game online. The worst case scenario is that this means you won't be able to take screenshots or videos of this game, which would be a massive misstep, so let's hope that's not the case. I was a bit worried that the only way to make Miis become friends would be to drag them over to each other like this, but we also got to see a more traditional meet and greet that will hopefully keep a bit of the randomness of the original. It definitely seems like you have more control over the Miis than you used to, but I didn't get the impression that you decide on every part of their life. I'm hoping that even if you drag two Miis close together, there's still a chance that they won't be friends. There's no way to know what the balance will be until the full game comes out, but I feel encouraged that it'll be a good mix of both player control and more random elements based on what was shown here. They showed off a few of the new romance scenes, and they look as amazing as ever. I especially love how they'll stare at their crush around the island, and the confession scenes look just as fantastically dumb as they were on the original. We also got a brief glimpse at weddings and having kids, so it's good to know that those elements are returning as well. There were a whole bunch of shops and buildings shown off, which all seem pretty standard so far. Stuff like the food shop, interiors, photo studio, and Mii News. I'm so glad that the news stories seem just as unhinged as ever. Hopefully the Islander interview sections will come back as well. There are a few big buildings missing though, mainly the concert hall. I'm pretty worried that it might not be coming back, since this would have been the time to mention it. I would honestly be pretty disappointed if there's no new version of the concert hall at all, as it was possibly my favorite part of the 3DS game. There were a few buildings that they didn't highlight specifically, like the treasure shop and the cafe, so there's a slight chance the concert hall could still be here, although to be honest it isn't looking good at this point since I didn't spot it during any of the wide shots of the islands. Probably the biggest change to the feel of Tomodachi Life is the new quick build elements, which let you totally customize and expand your island. I was expecting some sort of island customization, but I didn't think it would be this involved and in-depth. I think this might end up being a somewhat controversial part of the game, as Animal Crossing New Horizons' focus on these elements has been pretty divisive. But honestly, I think it fits a lot better in Tomodachi Life, where you're already acting as this sort of godlike presence in the sky managing everything, and I think it'll be nice to be able to change up your island to keep things feeling fresh years later. This expands the scope and replayability of this game so much, even if all of the islands look a bit flat and blocky. There's even the option to design the outside of the houses, although it makes them look a bit low quality and out of place. While I'm not big on the way customized houses look, it is pretty cool that you can make custom clothing, TV shows, and even, a pet, sort of. I also thought it was interesting that there was a way to add a bunch of decorations around the island based on a Mii's request. I think this could be a cool way to change up your island without having to place everything yourself by hand. Another great new feature are the little quirks that you can give to Miis, which gives them unique animations and behaviors that really sets them apart from each other. I think this is the perfect way to make the Miis feel different without further complicating the personality system, and I hope there's a ton of quirks to choose from. One thing I'm really excited about is the ability to have a big house full of up to 8 Miis, as I was a bit worried about all the Miis living in their own separate houses opposed to the apartment setup of the first game. The big change here is that people can live together without being married, so you can have lots of little mini apartment-like places where certain Miis can hang out with each other and have rooms nearby. I actually think this is a fantastic new way to structure the game, as the original could get pretty overwhelming once you had a ton of Miis living in that one building. Now you can have groupings of Miis that you can check in on, which is really cool. Hopefully you can buy new interiors for this kitchen area at the bottom as well. The game is releasing on April 16th of this year, which is pretty much what I was expecting. Interestingly, there was no mention of a Switch 2 edition or any Switch 2 specific features, so for now it's just a Switch 1 game priced at $60. They did mention that it works on the Switch 2 through backwards compatibility, but that might be locked to 1080p 30fps, which wouldn't be great. And mouse controls seem like a pretty useful feature for a game like this, especially with the creation of custom face paints and patterns. I can't imagine that a game this big won't at least get a free update on Switch 2 that improves performance, and I think it's still very possible that a Switch 2 edition will get announced in a direct in a week or two. The main key art and physical box art has also been revealed now, which looks great despite me sort of still preferring the 3DS logo style. Overall, I think this game looks absolutely incredible, and I'm still having trouble believing that it's actually real. It seems like a true, expansive sequel to the 3DS game in so many ways, and I'm starting to really love the new cel-shaded look of the visuals. And while I still have a few things I'd like to see be included and there are a couple things I'm worried about, I'm just glad this is happening at all. I really thought that this kind of Mii wackiness and charm was going to be lost to time, so to hear these weird voices saying strange stuff in ridiculous outfits makes me so happy. Those are just some of my general thoughts on what was shown off in the Direct, and I think it's safe to say that I haven't been this excited for a new Nintendo game in a while. I really can't wait to get my hands on this game in April, and experience all sorts of crazy scenarios and interactions. Rest in peace to Angie's dreams of romance, by the way. That was tough to watch.